Once one of my coaches said to me that I'm the type of player that is maybe not really starring in a game, but is able to make all the players around himself better. And that's probably a quote that I really like, actually, but it's also quite fitting. And I always was and am a player who puts the team first. When I play, I always try to put my teammates in with a pass, with a dribbling, with, I don't know, just an anticipation. I try to make life as easy as possible for them, to continue the game. And that's how I consider myself. And probably that's why my teamwork rate is quite high. During the second half of the season, I just started to get into my rhythm, and I remember that I finished that year quite strong, and from that point on, it was just I wouldn't say pretty easy, but pretty much in the flow, in the rhythm, and very enjoyable for myself. I think the biggest change probably was the Jürgen Klopp school with that Borussia Dortmund team that we had, the intensity we always used to play, the pressing. I think that's not really possible without that determination, and me obviously fitting into that team better and better with time, especially after the first season. Yeah, I remember especially in that period, the teams that Jürgen Klopp play, high pressing, getting the ball and transitional play, counter-attacks. And that's probably also a lot of times, that the game is just quick, it's paceful. So obviously I think that also played quite a part in it. I mean, probably just because of the fact that I was really on top of my game, I would say, in that specific moment. Obviously, we went into the Champions League final, with that young Borussia Dortmund team. I guess all eyes were on our young and dynamic and creative team. And maybe also that's a factor why my attribute went up. Throughout my career, was always a player who played in the middle. I guess that's a very good number. Even though I don't consider myself the quickest one, at least physically. Mentally, I think also, with your movements and your first touch in the middle, the way you have to find solutions, under the highest pressure, because in the middle you don't have much time, and you always have several opponents around yourself. So you always kind of need to know before you get on the ball which options you have, to evolve the game. And for me, pace is also mental pace. It's not just what is obvious, and what the people see maybe on TV. It's also what happens here. I need to be honest here. The back injury was quite serious, At least for me mentally, I really struggled in that period. I felt like no one really knows, at least 100%, what is causing my pain. No one could really show me what I have to do, to get better. That just created also a fear, I would say, in my person, because obviously when you're already out, I don't know, I was already out probably 2, 3, 4 months, and you visit several doctors. No one can really explain to you what's the cause, where it comes from, and then obviously being out at the end, I think in a total of 14 months. On top of that, I missed the World Cup 2014, with Germany. The year they won the World Cup, so being able just to watch the World Cup in Brazil from the hospital bed, you can all, I think, imagine what it felt like. But looking back now, everything went well for me, and being able now to play still on the highest level, 8 years after it happened, shows me that it was worth fighting for it. because I was on the sidelines for a few months or throughout nearly the whole first season of Pep. I was able to watch, from the stands and get a better idea, how he wants his team or our team to play. I mean, I knew him from Germany, playing against him with Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich. Obviously, I've watched and I loved watching his Barcelona team, back in the days, with that midfield, Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta. That was probably my favorite midfield of all time. And, the quality, of playing short passes, in the middle, and then in the right moment to convert the game, into the wide areas or to attack. That was something I was, as a midfielder myself, that I was really admiring. So yeah, for me it was just exciting, to get the opportunity, to play for Pep, to play here in the toughest league worldwide, with Man City, and yeah, at the end of the day also to compete for the titles, and that was, as you can imagine, an incredible opportunity for me. It actually started 2013 in the Champions League final. Marco Reus got fouled by Dante, I think, in the final, and Lewandowski was our natural penalty taker, during that time, as you can imagine. But I'm not sure. I thought like he's hesitating a little bit. Robert was probably on the verge of joining Bayern Munich, so I'm not sure if that's made him feel in a certain way. So me, on top of my game, I just took the ball, and I said, okay, guys, I'm taking it. I guess it's kind of natural that always the strikers or wingers, are the first ones to take penalties. So I always was the player who let his teammates, take the penalties. But every time there was an opportunity, I took the ball, and most of them were goals. But then I started to take more and more penalties, not just here at City, also at the national team. And that might be a reason why that stat went up. I think I would be crazy if I at least would not consider it. Having been managed by the best managers probably worldwide at the moment, and I consider Pep, Jürgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, these three. I think it's just natural, to at least make your batches, get a little bit experience, get a taste for it, and see if it's something for me. That's also a reason why I started a bit more than a year ago my first batch, and finished it last summer. And it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting field, of the game. It's a little bit different to being a player. Believe it or not, I truly believe that a game like Football Manager helps because it has so many facets, of the game. It has so many levels in terms of managing, not just the team, a whole club, staff, everything that it's involved. Probably that's also the reason why I'm so much enjoying, playing that game, because it feels so realistic. And yeah, I feel like all the database, on it helps not just in terms of finding young talents, and getting to explore more and more players. Also, the depth of the game, I think, can possibly help a lot of managers as well.